Two varieties, one language, British and American English. English is spoken by hundreds of millions of people around the world, but it does not sound exactly the same everywhere. Two of the most well-known varieties are British English and American English. Although they share the same basic grammar and most vocabulary, there are several differences in spelling, pronunciation, vocabulary, and even cultural usage. Understanding these differences can help English learners communicate more effectively with people from different English-speaking regions. One of the most noticeable differences between British and American English is spelling. Many words that end in "r" in British English are spelled with "or" in American English. For example, the British word color becomes color in American English, and favorite becomes favorite. Another common difference involves words ending in "re" in British English, which often change to "er" in American English. For instance, center becomes center, and theater becomes theater. These spelling changes were largely influenced by the American lexicographer Noah Webster, who wanted to simplify English spelling in the United States during the early 19th century. Vocabulary differences are also quite common. Many everyday objects have different names depending on whether someone is speaking British or American English. For example, what Americans call an apartment is usually called a flat in Britain. A truck in the United States is known as a lorry in the United Kingdom. Americans eat cookies while the British often say biscuits. There are many other interesting examples. Americans drive on a highway, while the British travel on a motorway. In the United States people stand in a line, but in Britain they stand in a queue. Americans wear sneakers, while the British usually say trainers. In the US, people ride an elevator, while in Britain they take a lift. Children in America go on vacation, while British people go on holiday. The back of a car is called the trunk in American English but the boot in British English. Americans fill their cars with gas, while the British buy petrol. A baby's diaper in the US is called a nappy in the UK. Finally, what Americans call French fries are often called chips in Britain. These differences can sometimes cause confusion, but usually the meaning becomes clear through context. Pronunciation is another important distinction between the two varieties. One famous example is the pronunciation of the letter R. In most American accents, the R is clearly pronounced at the end of words such as car or teacher. In many traditional British accents, particularly received pronunciation, the R is often silent unless it is followed by a vowel sound. This means that the word car may sound more like CAH in some British accents. In addition, certain vowels differ between the two varieties. For example, the word bath is typically pronounced with a short A sound in American English, but with a longer A sound in many British accents. Grammar differences between British and American English are relatively small, but they still exist. One example is the use of the present perfect tense. In British English, speakers often say, "I have just eaten," while Americans may say, "I just ate." Both forms are correct, but they reflect slightly different preferences in usage. Another example is the use of collective nouns such as team or government. British English sometimes treats these nouns as plural, "the team are playing well," while American English usually treats them as singular, "the team is playing well." Despite these differences, British and American English remain highly mutually intelligible. Speakers from the United States and the United Kingdom can usually understand each other without major difficulty. In fact, globalization, media, movies, music, and the internet have brought the two varieties even closer together over time. For English learners, the most important thing is consistency. It is perfectly acceptable to learn either British or American English, but it is usually best not to mix the two styles too much in formal writing. Ultimately, both varieties are part of the same rich and evolving language that continues to connect people across cultures and continents.
British and American English are very similar, but there are some interesting differences. One important difference is spelling. For example, British English uses color in center, while American English uses color in center. Vocabulary is also different in many cases. In the United States, people live in an apartment, but in Britain they live in a flat. Pronunciation can also change. For instance, Americans usually pronounce the R sound strongly, while in many British accents the R is silent at the end of words. Despite these differences, speakers from both countries can usually understand each other easily. English learners should choose one style for writing, but it is useful to understand both varieties.
Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope it helped you practice your English and learn something new. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next lesson. I'd also love to hear from you, so share your thoughts in the comments below. Your support means a lot and helps this channel grow. See you again in the next video.